Hey everyone, it's Keith McGinnis here with KCDC Designs out of Eagle, Nebraska. So what we have today is some really cool black, red, and some white cornhole boards. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. So I started off with, this is 3/4 MDF, of course. I painted that with Stone Coat's white epoxy undercoat paint. Actually did that yesterday, so it's been sitting overnight. And I'm going to be mixing up just a little bit more than 3 ounces per square foot. I'm going to be doing a Melded Marble, and the colors I'm going to be using red by Just Resin, black opaque dye from Polycolor, or Alumilite, I should say. Sorry about that. And then I'm also going to be mixing into clear. I'm going to be mixing in some diamond dust and then also some red wine glitter. Part of the reason I'm doing that, and part of the reason I'm not using white, even though I'm going after kind of that red, white, and black are the colors of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I know that if I put white and red down here and I meld the two together, that's going to lighten up the red and may even make it look pink. And I really don't want to get to that point. So I'm going to be mixing up just a little bit of titanium white, and I may pour that out very thinly and very randomly, and then meld that in just so I have a little bit of white in there. I did that on a sample board and I like the way that turned out. So we're just going to see what happens, and I may do it on one and not do it on the other. So I've got a little bit more than 48 ounces mixed up, and we're going to get this stirred up. Now again, for all the things that we know we need to do to obtain the best results, mixing is probably one of the most important. So as I get this mixed up here, I'm going to slow it down because just as important as having that thoroughly mixed is taking that stick and make sure you are scraping the sides of that bucket, scrape the bottom of that bucket, and make sure you don't see any swirl marks within your resin. If you do, continue to stir it until you no longer see any of those little swirl marks. All right, so let's go with, we'll go with 16 ounces in each. Some of the red wine glitter, and I'm going to go pretty heavy with the glitters. The idea is the clear along with the glitter. I'm going to try to leave some negative space in which the clear and the glitter will show through to give me that little bit of white. If it works as planned, then I won't need to add any white to meld in. Although melding in that white really look pretty cool. So as I'm getting ready to pour the colors out, I just wanted to point out I'm using the wide Bondo spreader opposed to the smaller one, and it all just depends on how you want that finish to look with your Melded Marble. So again, I'm pouring out my colors. I'm just using the black and the red, and then I have that clear with the red glitter and the diamond dust mixed in. And then I'm just going to start melding the colors together. Okay, I'm just going to heat that up just a little bit. Now I could have put down a wash coat, but I didn't. So now at this point that I have my colors poured out, now I'm taking my Bondo spreader, and really all I'm doing is just very, very lightly over the top, skipping across the top. I don't want to drag the colors around. I'm just basically looking to kind of pull one color over the top of the other, not mix them together, and fill any of the dead space or the voids, if you will. And the important thing with the Melded Marble is you want to make sure you don't go over the area several times. That's when you're going to start getting your colors to start look muddy. So you just want to skip across it and skip in all different directions, and again do it very lightly. Again, so you don't make those colors look all muddy. So at this point, I'm just using my Bondo spreader, and I'm getting some of that close to the edge so it could start to run over the edge, and then we'll see how it goes from here. Now, as I heat that up and make that a little bit more fluid, it'll start to roll over the edges, as it is already in some places. Okay, so now let's get to the other one. I like the way that looks. So as I start melding these colors together, to me it just seemed like I had quite a bit of black. So because of that, let's move on to what I do next. So here I did decide to add a little bit of Alumilite white And my folks just walked in, and I'm going to pull the audio back up, and you'll hear Mom's reaction when she sees the board.
Ooh, I like that.
That's what I said.
Oh, I love that.
Like that?
That's a fun one.
Huskers.
Well, it's not even Huskers. It's just fun. Fun, 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 and games.
So my folks are in their 80s, and Mom has just been such a huge advocate for my business, and she wants to see every countertop before it leaves my studio and I go install it. So I won't say she's unbiased, but it is always nice having a different set of eyes come and look at it, although I know what her reaction is going to be. But these really did turn out really cool. And as I get to the flyover coming up next, look really close. There are some eerie images with the black and red colors, but I hope you like it. So as we do the flyover here, one of the most important things about the melded marble is once you meld it with, for instance, the Bondo spreader, is giving that time to really soften up. And you can really tell by looking at it here, you can't see any of the swipe marks that I did with the Bondo spreader, but everything has really melded together. Man, there's so many images that you can see within those cornhole boards. It's crazy. But you can also tell that the red that I used, the red did not blend with the other colors. It didn't soften, it didn't turn pink. It's very vibrant red. I don't know if you can see the images that I can see in there, but there's some eerie ones. I decided against putting the Husker logos on there just because I didn't want to cover it up. I thought it just turned out and ended up looking really, really cool. But that really, really turned out nice. I was real happy with the colors that I put in there and how those turned out. And so here's the end result with the cornhole boards, and I do have LED lighting on them as well. Customer did allow me to put my decal on there with my logo, so that was pretty cool. And that is the final and finished product. And I did apply the UTC gloss, and I do have a tutorial on how I applied the gloss to those, so be sure and check that out on my channel. Be sure and subscribe, and thanks once again. This is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs.